Good evening. I was about to say good morning, but it's not even morning. Good evening, or morning, or afternoon, wherever you are. I hope you are all doing well. I hope you've had a great weekend as well, and obviously for those in the UK, I hope you've had a good long weekend. So we'll carry on with this week's outlook. I don't think there's anything pressing in terms of topics to really discuss in this one. So we'll just crack on with it. So EU compared to last week, I mean the move that we were calling was, I believe, price was when I did it. Yeah, it was a Tuesday. Price was somewhere around here. Price was somewhere here around here, and I was aiming to take out the high, which price is already done now. But the problem is, it's not taking out that range, so we're still stuck between from here to here. So we're still stuck in this range, which is a bullish range. But at this point, I wouldn't look for another trade anywhere near here because the fact that it's pretty much mitigated the open of the OB. It's reached the minimum target, even though it's just a wick. It's reached the minimum target, and now it's gone to the point where we don't necessarily know what price wants to do. But generally, when you see this, it's more you can assume that price doesn't want to go bullish any further, but it's not something that you can say that this is definitive. Like you can't say that this is definitely going to happen. Price is going to start reversing. No, you have to wait for your rules to present, right? So if we go to the 4 hour, because the daily it's not really showing anything, we can just follow the 4 hour range and see if there's anything valid from here. So we have the 4 hour high, low, which was eventually broken here. So we have this 4 hour high, which was confirmed here. So we have this 4 hour high here, and then we have this 4 hour low, which price is just about taken out. So we are currently in this range. I don't know why I'm drawing my range like this. I don't know if it makes it clearer for you guys, but there we go. So we're currently in this 4 hour range, and then we're just waiting to see. So we have, this was the last bullish break that we had. So the only valid POI that we have is here, and price is just wicked below it. This is a valid point to look for buys. However, it's just not the right time, and I mean it's quite late into New York, so this could be something that for London and New York tomorrow, it gives us the idea that we know that we're looking to push price to take out the daily, not daily high, 4 hour high. Because in terms of the rules, regardless of what the daily was showing, the 4 hour is still bullish. It's not switched just yet. We're still continuing to break highs, so we can only continue following that narrative. There shouldn't ever be any question about that, even though it's easy to say that because price is trying to break the daily high, price is going to start reversing now. Now, I think actually this is a good point to mention. So something I've been looking at is how I can simplify the daily narrative for you. So what I mean is how can I make intraday trading easier, especially if you want to trade in a bit more of a relaxed manner, and how to trade pro trend or counter trend, or understand which direction you need to be, which direction is pro trend and which direction is counter. So in what I've been looking at is there's a difference between how price reacts when it either wicks or when it actually closes below. Now, what I've been looking is when price, for example, when price breaks like a 4 hour high using our structure rules, if there's, for example, a candle closure, we tend to get some sort of a follow through and price continues bullish even after the retracement. However, what I've noticed is when you get something like this, when you get like a wick, and say if this candle closes like this, right? If price was to close like this and just get a wick rather than a candle closure on this one, what I've noticed is that we tend to get obviously a bullish move in this case. So this is what we class as obviously an LG, which is not confirmed until we get a break of structure on regards to what time frame. But say for example, if this 4 hour goes into the break, to say that even this minor structure is classed as an LG, because that's essentially what price has done. It's taken liquidity from the previous high or low. Okay. Now, what I've been looking at is how, because this doesn't really change. I mean, the 4 hour bias doesn't necessarily change across over a day. So can we just, what I'm looking at is if we can just use one leg to determine whether we should be buying or selling. So for example, just because we have this break, essentially just looking at intents, isn't it? But for example, and this is only for intraday, not for swing plays. Swing plays are two rules. It still confirms your bias. But what I'm saying is, say that before you go to start your trading day, you look at what the 4 hours done. So in this case, it's broken the previous 4 hour high. We just currently had a wick, and say if it closed like this, and now you've come into, say, you come into London session now. Now you're trading, say, the lower time frame, whatever it may be, whether you're trading Inception, Disruption, James's model, whatever. Instead of looking for sales, you're only looking for buys to take it in this direction. I'm looking to see if this will increase the probability of the trades, because obviously trading pro trend is the best way to get the highest probability, because counter trend, you sort of, if I was to trade lower time frames now, right there, I am essentially guessing where that low is going to be. I don't know if price is going to close here. Whereas what I'm trying to say is, if we wait for a candle closure and then monitor the way that this is closed, then what I'm thinking, that because it's only closed as a wick, I'm expecting price to go bullish, because I'm anticipating this is an LG. I think what I'm proposing is that we only look for buys in this scenario where we just have the wick, rather than look for sales. So that means it will help you be a bit more selective in your trades. Now, another thing I also want to mention is that this is where we sort of can think about premium discount as well, in the case that we have this 4 hour high, 4 hour low, where it's trading between this range. Essentially, we want to buy anywhere before we hit the 50% mark. And I think this can also help filter out some of the trades that we're taking. And it's irrelevant to whatever model you're looking to enter from, but at least it should help us if it is a valid theory. I don't know yet. I don't have enough data to back it, but it's just what I've seen um, from just looking at historical data, is that this is probably the best way to help you understand your intraday move. It's not necessarily a swing move. For example, it does not want to confirm that price is going to go all the way to take out that high, but it gives us an idea that price will be bullish for a certain period of time, and then it's up to you to manage your trade. That's just something that I'm working on. I'm not sure how valid it will be or how well it will work. It's just an idea. So if any of you feel like testing, feel free. I just wanna make things as simple as possible for you guys, and I think I'm trying to break things down as much as possible. But it's coming to the point where I don't know how else I can make things simpler for you guys. But anyway, that's just something. That's just a theory that I have in my head. But at the minute, if you're gonna obviously follow our our structure rules, whatever, this hasn't broken yet, so this POI is still valid. Now, this compared to the daily that I was talking about, because it's already tapped, just because it's moved up, it doesn't mean it's already been fully mitigated. It could be the fact that price is coming to mitigate something lower before this, obviously, this LG here. But it could be that if it was a case where price came and wicked that high, then I wouldn't bother looking at that anymore. It's just, for me, that's finished. But apart from that, there's nothing else on EU. GU, I assume, is going to be the same when it loads. Okay, so GU, I assume that's a POI from last week. Yeah, so this is a POI from last week, which price has obviously gone through, so we can remove that. So currently we are in this trading range where this high from this low, and we're currently in this POI here. Simple as that. You're aiming to take out that high. Again, it's not the right trading time to even look for a trade at this point, but at least it gives you that sense of direction. AU, what do we have in terms of the 4 hour? That's not a break, so we have this POI here. and we're just looking to go long. Let's just go on the daily quickly and have a look. And this is quite a nice one because it looks like it coincides with the daily. Let me just have a look at structure again. So it's taken out the daily high, and this is the closest point of imbalance here on the daily, when that lines up with that 4-hour low that we have here. So we're in this 4-hour range, and obviously we're waiting for that to look for buys to aim to take out the high. So I guess that's pretty straightforward and simple. GJ, what we have is the POI here. You can mark it all the way to that, but I think you could probably find something clearer. Maybe not. On the 4-hour, I mean, the clearest thing I can see is using the wick trick itself as a refinement to that daily. That should be good enough. And then again, we're waiting for price to come, mitigate, and then take out the daily high or 4-hour high, however you want to see it. It should be as simple as that. Again, if you're still struggling, re-watch that the weekly outlook I mentioned last week as well. I think it was the 11th of April, I believe. Rewatch that because I explained how to do this as simple as possible. What I mentioned about EU, if you are going to start testing, don't expect it to work straight away. As I said, it's just a theory that I've just come up with, that I've been looking at. It's more what I was looking at from the lateral thinking video. It's just something that I've just popped up and then had a look. And I noticed that it happens more often than not. But it's just about finding a way to trade that effectively, because it does tend to follow suit. So it does give you that daily move. It's more, I think, if we can trade in the direction that, if we can find a rule set, if I can make a rule set, to be fair, that can give you an intraday bias, for example, hopefully that should help us, help you guys to trade a bit more effectively. Because I think some of you are trying to trade pro trend and counter trend just because the rules are present. Just because the rules are present doesn't mean the trade is going to work, and doesn't mean that the trade is valid. It just means that the rules are present, but you need to remember the model itself that you're using. You got the timing and other confluences such as order flow, which is obviously built into your model anyway. That's what defines the probability of the edge in play. It's not the case of the two rules are present, so I'm just going to place a bunch of orders here. I'm going to buy here, sell there, just because the two rules are present, or just because there's OB rules are present, or whatever. It's not about that. It's more about understanding how can you extract the most from the market, and how can you trade the most effective way to extract the most from the market, basically. And just because I trade on lower time frames, for example, and James, for example, it doesn't mean that you guys have to. You can be consistent on any time frame that you feel comfortable trading. It's about building an edge around it. I think that, and again, what I mentioned in the lateral thinking video, I guess I am responsible for that, because and it's the same with every course, I suppose. But you'll be learning how to follow an edge, for example, which is step by step, but then you don't always get taught how to be creative with it. And I don't think there's something that I want to try to do, but I think there's a lot that comes with intuition and initiative, and that's something that I cannot give you. I can only inspire, but I can't give you that initiative, and I can't give you the what's the word? I don't know what word I'm thinking of. I can't make you. I can't teach you how to think. Basically, I can only demonstrate something, and hopefully something would trigger some creative spark in how to trade effectively, or how to create your own model that suits you. Because the models that are in the Discord are obviously based on myself and James, and that's what's worked for us. And that's obviously what you're here for, is to learn, what we exactly do. However, it's not the case. For example, any of my mentors, for example, that I've had, everyone that I've spoken to or learnt from, I'm not training as that. I'm not training the way that I've been taught. I've only extracted what I could from someone, and then had to create my own understanding to make it work for me. It's not to say that their teaching doesn't work. It's not to say that their model doesn't work. It just didn't fit around me, so I had to make it individual for myself. For example, I wasn't happy with the win rate, with the strike, with the risk entries that I was first taught. I wasn't happy with the win rate on the confirmation entries that I was first shown. Things like that. But it's about, I think you have enough content here to help you build a model around you. It's just a case of thinking outside the box to be able to do that. And a lot of you who are in that position probably aren't even watching this video, because I think the weekly outlook is probably discounted as unuseful content. Because I guess marking POIs is pretty easy, but the weekly outlooks aren't meant to be just for marking POIs. I mean, I sort of speak my mind, and any topics that come up over the previous week, I can discuss here. But I think going forward, I want to push as many of you as I can to, if you still haven't found any sort of consistency using our models, test how you can be creative with the rules, because the rules are valid themselves. It's being able to make the rules work for you in essence, basically. And for those of you in the mentorship, if you're struggling, for example, you need to start somewhere. As in, you need to start with a hypothesis that I mentioned in the lateral thinking video, which I hope you've watched. If you haven't, make sure you watch that before you do anything else. And then once you have your hypothesis, build statistics, and then open a ticket, and then I'll be happy to help tweak your model from there. However, I'm not going to build a model for you, not because I don't want to, but purely because I can't make something individual to you, because I am not you. It's I'm pretty sure that's self-explanatory, but some of you have got a little bit aggy over the last few weeks because I'm not doing that for you. You need to start somewhere. If you come with the statistics, I will happily tweak and help adjust your model. However, I need you to do the groundwork to begin. But anyway, that's up to you guys to do. I can't do anything else for you. In terms of my announcement, I don't have a date for any surgery at the moment, but they are looking to go through the surgery route. So there may be a phase where I'll be inactive for, I don't know, a day or so, or probably a bit more than that. It depends on how well or bad the surgery goes. And I think make use of, just because I've done that announcement, especially for you guys in the mentorship, don't hesitate to ask anything, because I'm here to support you. It's not I didn't put that out to stop you or deter you from messaging me. I want you to make use of the time that you have with me to the best that you can. Spam the tickets if you need to, but I don't want you to ever feel like you cannot ask, because you should never be in a position where you feel uncomfortable to. I only put that out there so you're aware of my position, and so you're aware why I'll be slightly slower on certain days to reply. But in the end of the day, I will reply to you every single time if you open the tickets. DMs, as I said, from the start of 2023. This won't affect you guys in the course program, on the access program, if you guys are watching this. For the mentorship, as I said, in DMs, I don't necessarily reply to DMs anymore because they're muted, just because of the amount of DMs. It's just easier for me to filter through the tickets, and the notifications are easier to manage. Open a ticket whenever you have valid questions, but don't hesitate to ever ask a question. I want you to feel comfortable asking what you need to, and remember, no question is a stupid question. And as I said in the announcement for you guys, post whatever you need to in the feedback section if you want me to cover something in more detail, if there's anything that I can do, because I know a lot of the content is clear enough, and I do have videos for most scenarios and most questions. But if there's something that I haven't covered too well, obviously use the feedback section, and I will do my best to create new content to cover that. Now, I was in the middle of, I know I've said it from the start of the year, I was in the middle of doing phase 2 and phase 3. I finished most of it, and then it was a case where I was seeing the questions being asked, and I was like, I need to redo some of the videos. I've had to put that on pause just for the moment, purely because of I've had a lack of energy over the last few months, but obviously now we know why. I'm hoping to pick that back up as soon as I can. But I haven't prioritized it because I don't feel like I need to at the moment. I think the course is fine as it is. I was only redoing the videos just because I wanted to, so I'm not prioritizing that at the moment. But as I said, you're not missing out anything, and there's nothing missing in the course that will affect your trading at all. And the new videos, as I said, is just the same things just being explained over again. It's just a fresher video basically. So none of that is going to change for you anyway. But anyway, I suppose I've waffled enough. I hope you all have a safe trading week. I was going to say trade safe again, but I basically just said that. Stick to the plan, stick to the rules, and for those of you who are struggling, have a think about how you can adapt the rules to work for you, and how you can be creative with it. But for now, take care, and I'll speak to you all in the Discord.